everybody. I am here with a friend of mine, one Sean. You have to say hi now.
Hello.
Sean lives in Greer, South Carolina. Sean and I are friends. You know that we moved here from South Carolina. Sean is not from South Carolina. Tell him about you.
Not at all. So I grew up in Albuquerque. We lived here for about 12 years. We lived up in the northern part. We went from Rio Rancho and Paradise Hills.
And then you ended up in Farmington.
Ended up in Farmington, way, way, way north, about 3 hours.
So when people ask you where you're from, do you say Farmington?
Yes.
Yeah. So New Mexican representation here. See, I was friends with a real, honest, bona fide New Mexican before I moved here.
Yeah, you were.
First thing I did when I took my job, actually, was talk to Sean. Yeah. Sean is here to controversially compare. Is there any other way to compare?
No.
You have to be controversial.
Gotta be.
South Carolina and New Mexico. Now, when we say South Carolina, we're talking about the upstate of South Carolina. So it's not the palm trees and alligators. It's foothills and forests. And then when we say New Mexico, I mean, when you think of New Mexico, do you think of Farmington or Albuquerque or both, the whole kit and caboodle?
I think about everything, yeah.
Okay.
So there's a wide range of what I think about. So
I'm going to ask you to play the bad guy. I'm going to ask you to do what I can't do on this channel because I want the people to love me.
Go.
So you need to decide. I'm going to give you a word or an idea, whatever. Compare the two.
Okay.
And then decide where it's better.
Okay.
Even if it's arbitrary.
Yeah.
You have to pick one.
I have to.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
this is going to be a lot of fun. Actually. I'm already ready for this.
Sweet.
This is great.
We're going to start with a softball.
Okay.
Weather.
Oh, New Mexico. I love the weather here. South Carolina right now, just right now, like it's not even in August. Right now in South Carolina, I think it's running about 80 to 85% humidity.
Pretty normal.
Pretty normal for South Carolina. That's on the mid range. I hate humidity. So New Mexico with its teens, humidity, wonderful. It's such a different feeling. You actually get winters here that feel good.
Why don't the winters there feel good?
Because of humidity.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's biting humidity. It amplifies whatever side you're on.
Yeah, I can testify to that actually because I lived in Western Canada. I lived in Edmonton, Alberta when I was a kid. About the age you moved from Albuquerque to Farmington. Okay. I moved to Western Canada. And it was so cold, like you'd read in the newspaper about people dying at the bus stop. Mm-hmm. Then after that, I lived in Boston. Ooh. Boston felt colder. Even though like the thermometer wasn't as cold, the wind off the sea, the humidity, it felt so... In fact, the reason people would die in Edmonton is that they didn't feel cold. And then suddenly you'd realize... I shouldn't be at this bus stop.
Yes, they were dead. Wow.
Yeah,
that's rough.
But yeah, so no, I can dig that.
Yeah.
I'm still getting used to the dryness. So a lot of this, because you just said that you haven't had any problems with the altitude coming back.
Haven't had any problems.
So you've got like a New Mexico bod.
Right. I have at least lungs. We'll say that.
Okay.
I have gone through about 3 or 4 12-ounce water bottles every day, and I'm still parched. So there is that end of it.
Yeah.
It's very dry here.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's talk about food.
Okay. So
which is better?
New Mexico.
Again.
Again.
You're just gonna be a homer.
No. Well, I am. So South Carolina is where we come from in South Carolina. They take barbecue very seriously. So there are so many barbecue joints, but other than that, you do get, the nice thing is we do get low country, some low country. So low country is like Charleston, South Carolina, where like ocean, where you get like shrimp and grits, which is
so good.
Is amazing.
Low country boil is overrated though.
It is.
Why are the potatoes there?
I don't know. The
Anywho.
Irish.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. So, but up here in New Mexico, there is a lot more, from what I've found, just like a lot more variety. there's a lot more food experimentation happening.
Well, expand that a little, because
Yeah.
I've actually, hit me.
Okay, so, and I say this because I have eaten at the Chubby Chicken. And if you don't know where the Chubby Chicken is,
I don't know where the Chubby Chicken is.
that's okay. The Chubby Chicken is outside of Aztec, New Mexico. It is, it's one of those shacks that shouldn't be serving food.
Oh, okay.
But they, like, you walk in, you should never walk in, because you're gonna see how the sausage gets made.
Basically, the health department has grandfathered the men.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, I can dig it.
So, and so that is like the low end. But then you have just so many places here that are going to kind of change up the typical New Mexican flavor of foods. So your staples of like I say it's a staple because we ate it a lot. Your enchiladas or your green chili rellenos, those sorts of things, they take those and they do even like one better.
Okay. I mean, I feel like I in South Carolina, I can find hipsters and cool people and chefs that'll take funky takes on the local food. When I eat, I wanted to get to know New Mexico, so I tried to eat at some diners and like total like obvious mom and pop places, and they all seem to serve the exact same food, like three or four dishes.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like that in our neck of the woods in the South as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
It's the most unsophisticated part of the state.
You're gonna get like chicken fried steak and
So much gravy.
so much gravy and canned green beans.
And so here's the thing: I generally like Southern cooking, but I can't stand how even in the regions that have good cooking, because like I said, where we were wasn't necessarily the greatest. They boil their veggies to death, and that kills me.
Yep.
But I feel like here they don't respect the vegetable either.
No.
Like the best thing they do is like a squash stew, calabacita.
I don't know that I've had that, but
I'm more New Mexican than him at this point.
well, have you had a chili relleno?
I've never been to the Chubby Chicken either. Yeah, I've had a chili
you have a
relleno.
chili
Come
relleno.
on.
Okay, good.
I mean,
That's
I've even had the stuffed sopapilla. Yeah.
that's good.
All right, people. Come on now, be real, sir.
I am thinking through this because
He didn't know what things
I
I'd be
have
throwing at him.
no categories on this one.
Remember, you
people
have
in
to
the
take
South.
sides and start
People
wars.
in the South, because they are so nice. They are nice when they hate you, and that is scary.
I mean, okay, so scary, like because people will say about the South that they don't mean it.
Right.
Well, yeah, which I don't think that's true generally, but you do have people who don't mean it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That scares you?
Yeah, because here's a great thing, and you probably have experienced this here in Albuquerque at a four-way stop. Do you?
I hate four-way stops in South Carolina.
They do, because everyone's like, "You can go. It's your turn," and you're like,
That kills me.
"Do you not know the rules?"
Yeah. I mean, I love courtesy, but follow the rules because we're being stupid here.
Yeah.
No, you.
Yeah. And then
a friend of
15
mine from
minutes
New
later,
Hampshire called that
you're
the
done.
southern. What was it? Southern standoff. It's like, no, you first. No, that does kill me.
It's nice that people are so courteous on that edge, and it's helpful when you have babies that are being very rambunctious, and they're going to be patient with you.
Is that why you pick Southerners?
Correct.
Because they're going to be patient?
They're going to be a little bit more patient with you, and they're going to be a little bit more understanding, even if they don't like it.
Which is what politeness is.
It is. But what I remember of living in New Mexico, they're just going to tell you that you're taking up their time.
Yeah. Or they're going to ignore you or walk away.
Right.
I was talking about I was sitting at a picnic table, talking to someone, and then I started talking about the other person at the other end of the picnic table. Like, to him. I thought it was hilarious, because obviously she was going to jump in and also talk to us, because I'm talking about her. She like didn't acknowledge it. Like, okay, sorry. Next time I'll address you directly. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
So actually, and that makes me think of. So right now it's 2-1.
Yep.
Right, for New Mexico. And talking about courtesy brings up the 4th of 5.
Okay.
Driving. And we talked courtesy and four-way stop. Sorry, driving.
Nice.
So would you rather drive in South Carolina or would you rather drive in New Mexico?
That's a hard one. But weirdly enough, I would actually take South Carolina driving.
That's not weird to me at all.
That,
I mean, I understand the complexity. It's not like a black or white. It's
not
complex.
a black or white. It is very complex. But if I have to take a stand, I will take South Carolina drivers because they are typically, not all the time, but weirdly slower.
Dude, even in the South, like I would like come out of Georgia or come out of North Carolina, which is already like the South and slower.
Right.
And,
Yep.
And it's naturally that way. It's not like it's enforced that way.
No. People typically go the speed limit. Here, I think I was driving on a road, had a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, and there were people behind me like, talking now. I can't do anything about that. I mean.
Yeah. Okay. So why were you tempted? Because it wasn't easy for you. Why were you tempted to take New Mexico?
So here's the one thing about New Mexico that I really enjoy is you guys have light. Your roads are typically lit.
I just want to stop and point out to the viewer and to you that you're talking about New Mexicans in the second person, as if you were no longer New Mexican.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's happened.
It's happened.
Okay.
I have lived in South Carolina for 11 years, and I don't get to call it my state anymore.
Wow.
I wish I could, but
Comment about that. Tell him if he ever gets to escape from, what's it called? Entrapment. What's the nickname? There's a nickname about entrapment, and it's so obvious. I can't believe I'm forgetting it now. The land of entrapment.
the land of entrapment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're not supposed to be allowed to leave New Mexico or stop being New Mexican.
Got it.
And we are going to enforce that. Tell him in the comments how he's never allowed to leave New Mexico, but be nice about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was about to say, like,
Yeah.
I was born in California.
Stop discrediting yourself.
I don't look at myself as a Californian.
No.
You
grew up here.
I grew up in Arizona as well. So, but it's like
you're destroying my video. Like
sorry.
you're the 13th minute. You're like I'm not actually an authority.
Well, once you kind of leave a place, like I just feel like you gotta live where you're at.
Yes, I think you're doing that the right way. I mean, actually, that's informing how I'm approaching Albuquerque and even this channel.
Doing great.
Yep, I'm becoming Porqueño.
Yes.
Whether they let me or not. Whether they let me or not.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
making your own reality.
Exactly. You watched my video. Thanks. All right. So we did. It's 2-2 right now.
Yeah, it's 2-2.
We did drivers.
We
We
did
did people. We did food. And we did weather. Notice that both the ones involving humans, you chose South Carolina.
Yeah.
Intriguing.
Makes sense.
I wonder what that means.
I don't know.
Okay. Family. Not about where your family lives. Like, I know your family lives in New Mexico.
Okay.
Where would you rather have your family?
That is a great question.
Things just got real.
They got real.
Yeah.
So we live in downtown Greer, South Carolina. It's a little town. We can walk just about everywhere.
It's a great area.
It's a great area. I would pick that.
Yeah. Okay.
So
But there are small towns in New Mexico.
there are small towns in New Mexico.
And actually, Greer is a small town, like by a much bigger city.
It's
like
a
it's
small
part of
town
a bigger,
next to a big
but it
city.
feels big. Like it is. It's a small town. It's got everything
it's got
small
everything there.
towny. It's
So,
not isolated.
It's not isolated, and you also have like one of the other things is we have a kid with Down syndrome. My oldest has Down syndrome, and South Carolina, the community there for the Down syndrome is just stellar. Like they, go beyond what we could have ever asked them to do for us and help us do so much more with our kid.
And actually, talking about your special case, it kind of illustrates more generally. The wife and I have noticed that there's just less there's less structure for kids and family in the state. There's just less accommodation and stores and restaurants, fewer activities. There's just less thinking about. You can just tell that the society isn't structured around people with a bunch of kids, which was unique about that part of South Carolina.
It really was.
Many kids. The whole culture is used to it. Yeah, New Yorkers would come down and be shocked by it. But, most of the states is not like that. But that particular area, so kid-friendly. And so it gets to the point where it's kid-structured.
Yep.
Not in a way that caters to the kids, but you can live your life with kids, and it's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
We live walking distance with 3 parks currently and a 4th park coming in the next 2 weeks.
So good.
So
I've got to say, there are a bunch of parks
there are
in this block. Yeah.
Where my dad lives up in off of Tower Road on the other side of the river. They they have 2 parks within walking distance of him, and I'm like, that's amazing.
There's a ton of parks
There's
here.
a ton of parks.
Yeah.
But parks in the desert, that's so much water.
All right, so I clearly chose the categories correctly to make it a close game, but where South Carolina wins. I actually had no idea what you were going to choose.
Yeah. The driving thing can get close.
Yeah. I drive more naturally the way people think the bad drivers in New Mexico drive. The reason it's dangerous for me to drive here is that there are drivers who follow the rules like normal Americans, and then there's New Mexico drivers, and that mix is dangerous because I don't know what people are going to do. Like if I'm in Mexico, no problem.
No, you're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Lawless.
If I'm in Boston, no problem. But being here it's tough.
Yeah.
I just don't know how people are going to behave.
Yeah.
But I do actually, personality-wise, fit better in here. All right, well, that was relatively arbitrary, but a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So how did you respond emotionally, just to close, when you got back to New Mexico on this visit? How long has it been?
Okay, so it has been about 4 years since I was in New Mexico. We came to Albuquerque to visit my dad in a whirlwind trip. I am not sentimental. Places are places. They don't...
So there's no I'm not sentimental, and yet there's just I'm not sentimental.
I'm not sentimental. Like, when I go home...
It's hard as a rock.
It is. It's not going to be... There's nothing like in my heart, there's not going to be an emotional response to... there's going to be my family, and that's really great, but... It's a house.
Hello, wife. I am pleased to be with you again.
Hello, Puritan.
He's not like that at all. He's an outrageous personality, but clearly hiding a heart of stone.
Yeah.
I love it.
I just... Yeah. There was a lot that happened here a long time ago that has been...
Dude, in that, you sounded more Burkenio than I get any moment. Yeah. Hardcore history. All right. See you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah.